Welcome back to the Starting Over podcast, the nice long marathon for Galactic Guardians. And it does seem like eons since we started this podcast. It probably feels the same for you. Kudos to you for listening. And even fate is calling me right now and telling me to wrap this up. I still have my good friend Dan here. Say hello to everybody.
Still here, still trucking.
Okay. All right, he's still alive, and fate is still calling me, telling me to try to wrap this up. Okay, looking at the next figure is Stranger, and by far, I think that if WizKids didn't learn a lesson from Metron, pretty much Stranger is a proof of it. Stats, overall, he averages probably about like a 10.5, maybe a 10.2. Again, averaging everything out because he does have like 11 attack and a whole bunch of clicks of 10 and 9. Where the concern comes in with Stranger is this. It's his trait and his one special power. And he is Power Cosmic, 213 points. I understand, you know, you're paying a good amount of points for him. But it's the size I need to be, the trait. At the beginning of your turn, you may choose Giant or Colossal. That's the problem. Stranger possesses that combat symbol until your next turn. Okay, the next is his special power, which he gets on clicks 2, 3, 5, and 6, I think. No one... is it... 3, 6, yeah, 6 and 7, sorry. No one knows me, ... or what I'm capable of. At the beginning of your turn, you may choose a standard power. Stranger can use that power until your next turn. That's a problem. And here's why. The moment that you add the gauntlet onto him and he says, "Whoop-de-dippy-doo, I'm Colossal, son," it gives him the ability to keep pushing the dial. And he'll take tokens and he will take unavoidable damage. Yes, that's the trade-off. But if he goes turn 1 action, turn 2 action, turn 3, oh, I'm Colossal now, take an action, I'm automatically on that, hey, guess what? No one knows me and I get to name a power. And from that point on, he'll clear. And then he can just, wash, rinse, repeat. And if he has a medic, he'll just go back to the top eventually. And once you start naming...
He does not need a medic. He can straight up just choose regeneration on his no one knows me, regenerate the top, and keep on going.
Oh, yeah, or even worse, just sort of saying, hey, guess what? No one knows me. I pick regeneration, and I'm Colossal, and I'll just keep doing that. And I'll just keep pushing regen because I'll take 1 click, unavoidable. I'm going to heal back to my top click, but I'm going to just keep regening. And I have a bunch of barrier guys that are there. So it doesn't matter. It's inevitable that I'm going to hit +1 or +2. That part to me was they did not think that through. They should not have given him Colossal. I would have been fine with a Giant, and it would have made him balanced. And it would have made him balanced for the meta. And the issue more so comes in is when you combine the Gauntlet's ability to say, name a power, and you can pick that standard power with no one knows me. You could say Running Shot Pulse Wave, Charge Flurry, Super Senses Shape Change, Perplex Outwit, Perplex Probability Control. All the things that shouldn't be together, now you can put together. And that's where
you have to make a team with him, though, to do it right. And I think he needs, you want to give him 3 gems on the gauntlet. You want to give him the Soul Gem, and you want to give him the Time Gem, and the Reality Gem. Then that's 248 points. Okay, that's a lot of points. Yes, agreed. Now we also give him, very simple. That doesn't work as well as I thought. I thought maybe 2 aim renegades would be able to do it so you can barrier, but now it doesn't work as well as I hoped. I only got 18 points left to spend after that. Oh, that's because, never mind, I hit the wrong button, and those gems should not cost 10 points, they should cost 5. Let's try this again.
Because I think
so the Soul Gem for the healing, the Time Gem for the permanent super senses, and the Reality Gem for the permanent prob. there's 3 powers that he won't have to pick with the gauntlet or anything along those lines. And that's 238 points. He was flying with keyword. You know, we'll toss on. Let's see. Ooh, what is that? No, that wouldn't work. Oh well.
You're trying to, you could put on 2 AIM Renegades and then subtract how many gems you need and then go from there.
Yeah, no, you'd have to take 2 gems off because 2 AIM Renegades makes it 306.
Okay, so yeah, you would end up taking 2 gems off, and you would have 1, and you have to determine which gem that's most valuable. And so, I would actually go with the Super Senses one, in all honesty, just because you're not starting with.
Yeah, I'd keep the Soul and Time Gem. I'd probably get rid of Reality.
Okay. So you sort of see where the problem comes in. You know, once you get all of that silliness, and you just key off from there, and there's nothing stopping, you know, you from making ranged attacks using your 2, you know, aim guys to benefit you. It's ridiculously silly really fast, and that's why I feel that Stranger can be one of those figures in the meta that will appear and just wreck things. And I also think that having him, he wants an indoor map with walls. The moment he picks an indoor map with walls, he has the advantage, because if he goes and becomes a Colossal, there's no plus elevation for another Colossal to look at him at. So he can't draw a line of fire to him on, like, you know, oh, look, there's a ledge. I can draw a line of fire to him because he's a giant or he's a Colossal. No, he can be completely safe on an indoor map with the barrier.
Yeah, I mean, even without getting him the Godhood, I'll say there's a couple of spots on the gem that are pretty crazy on their own. I think there's one actual clip we found out. There's a clip where the gem gives you Flurry, and you've got the Soul Gem, so if he's on, like, clip 2, he could say, instead of Colossal, I'm a Giant, and my power's Charge, and then Gauntlet with me Flurry. Charge, Flurry, 2 squares away, lots of healing. It's incredible.
Yeah. And oh, gosh, that's so good. But I think, I hate to say it, this is probably a Gen Con piece. He falls into that turtle and turn mindset that people are talking about, and unfortunately, if someone said, "Hey, I'm going to go after Stranger, and I'm going to go and try to kill Stranger," they have so much work that they have to do to try to kill him. With any other standard piece, it's ridiculous. And
yeah, this is one of those pieces, though, that Adam Warlock wouldn't really, and I think someone posted on it, I saw in the thread when you talked about how good Stranger was, and it's true. Adam Warlock is really going to give this piece the finger. You've really got to, but the thing is, if you get to a point where you can stay away from Adam Warlock, you get to Ultimate Godhood, it's not hard if you get to clip 1 where you've got your own outwit.
Yeah.
Although, no, he's Power Cosmic, so yeah, doesn't matter, does it?
Yeah. The issue for me is when you're looking at Stranger, where Stranger just says to Adam Warlock, you can outwit me all you want. It won't stop me from keep making actions, A. And B, it won't stop me from running shot pulse waving you for 3 or 4. And you eventually can't keep up. And I can just pick regen, you know, or I can pick, you know, whatever else. You know, I can pick prob and regen, and I can just regen. Yeah, you outwit my stuff. But guess what? You can't outwit, you know, my power that's generated by the gauntlet. So I'll just pick, using my special power, I'll pick regen, and I'll have the gauntlet give me prob. So then, boom, boom, you know, I'm good to go. Okay, I feel that some things are not play tested in combination with other things coming down the pipe. If Stranger was designed to be in the same meta as Metron, then I would be like, oh yeah, that's fine. Metron needs somebody that can try to punk him head on in a straight fight. If Stranger was designed with the idea that Nightcrawler was still in the meta, that Bullseye was still in the meta, Novar was in the meta, Nurses are still in the meta, I would have been fine. I don't think when they designed him they designed him knowing that the gauntlet was going to be part of the meta at this stage. I don't think they did. If they design, if I'm under the illusion that they're designing everything in sequential order, which I don't think they're doing. I don't think they're designing all the sets in sequential order. I think they're like, okay, here's some ideas that we had here. Okay, we're going to save that for, 4 or 5 months down the line. Then we're going to, redo these ideas and then have them in this set. Or, Marvel said we don't want this character here, but we already did all the R&D, so we're going to move it to another set. Okay, I think stuff like that happens. So if I can say,
right. I don't think they can really, and they can't do that. They can't limit what they're going to do in sets based on what's out in the other sets. They're still trying to make an overall game, and they're just doing the best they can with each piece. You can't say, oh, because this might happen, well, because of this, we can't do this. They still want to innovate and push and make cool ideas.
And I know we're off track, but I believe that up until how retirement broke down this time. When retirement broke down this time, with it being cut off at Web of Spider-Man, that told me this is the first time Nika said, we're not going to ban any things, but we will jack with your retirement schedule if something gets out of hand. And they pretty much said, hey, we feel Nightcrawler and Metron are out of hand. This is not a slam to you, dude. Just mind you.
No. Metron was always going to go.
Metron was always going to go. But it was Nightcrawler. Yeah, Nightcrawler was going to go, and Nightcrawler was getting out of hand, and Bullseye was out of hand. I hate to say it. And for the pure fact, and the pure fact that we had three sets that directly resolved Nightcrawler as an issue. We had Swamp Thing. We had, DC 75th, the other figure, the little clown dude from the Suicide Squad.
Ragdoll.
Yeah, Ragdoll. We've had, I can't count how many just like anti-Nightcrawler figures that they just introduced into the meta where they're like, oh, no. This is the deal with stealth and shape change. No! You made rules changes with Battle Fury so that you could deal with Nightcrawler. They are making things in the game to counter other things in the meta that they didn't foresee. And for me, if you're paying attention to your cons, which they should be, then they would have known that Stranger is just going to repeat the same problems that Metron did. And or even worse because of the gauntlet. And they could say, oh, well, he's not as bad because, look, he can't use, almost all the support powers, But even still,
he's definitely not Metron, but he's definitely a good Metron light, I'd say.
Look, in to sort of put it in more perspective, he is what Metron is now once retirement kicks in. You see what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, it took Metron. Somebody talked to me too. Like, I think I had a discussion with some people. How did Metron become king of the meta? Because he's like, when he first came out, everybody thought, oh my god, he's too many points, he stinks. And what made Metron king of everything was retirement. Because once you lost this, nobody's going to play Metron when for his point cost you could have 2, hypersonic bricks in Rookie Shazam.
Yeah.
But once all that got retired, and the rule changes to Pulse Wave and a couple other things, that's when he became king.
It really, in my opinion, like when George played for the World Championship and it was Metron thing, Metron was okay. That team was okay according to the rules. And of course, George won, blah, blah, blah. There was a mistake for the other guy. Let's put all that aside. Let's put the mistake of the other guy aside. Metron at that stage was strong just for the pure fact that he had all the support powers and you were using things to take tokens off of Metron so that you could constantly do attack damage and stuff. And you have pretty good stats. You're using your Perplex on your attack or your defense when, depending on the circumstances, and you have Prob. And then you can use support to heal things. When we looked at it with George's team, at any point in time, he could have said, I swarm Metron, I put a ridiculous amount of figures within his pulse wave range. He will never be able to single target pulse wave for his full damage on Shazam. Ever.
I don't think that team was built around doing that. I mean, my team was. I will say that my team was built around the idea that I'm going to single target pulse wave because Nightcrawler is going to do that. But with Sting on the team and Sting being a necessary part being next to Metron, single target pulse wave I don't think was ever part of the strategy. I think it was because at the time there was a lot less power cosmic. I mean, with the exception of Metron, I don't think there was any power cosmic really in the game.
Yeah, there was a lot
there
less
wasn't a lot of
Quintessence Power Cosmic in general. There was Phyla Vel, and there's a few others. But
Yeah, but she was not. She was
not
okay, but not great.
she's not competitive. But see, that's the thing that I was looking at is that at that Worlds, the problem came in with the reason why Metron came out and big was you found somebody to pair him with. You had retirement. You no longer had, the hypersonic speed Shazams. But the other thing is that when we look at it, what did limit some of the abilities was the pulse wave. I mean, you never had to be afraid of the pulse wave because you could just base a whole bunch of people around it, and you can use it as a hypersonic speed wall. And yeah, having a whole bunch of Jason Bloods was worth it. But when we look at the rules change to pulse wave to allow you to use pulse wave when based, when you couldn't do it before, and to use just use it when based, Metron can now say, screw it, all these guys are around me, I'm going to nuke you. I'll take one, my thing will take one, yeah, but I'm dealing out 5 clicks of damage. Before, he couldn't do that. He's like, oh, shoot, Metron's based, he has to phase away, and then hopefully that he doesn't get based again next turn, and then pulse wave if he wants to get everybody, or he has to phase away to single target pulse wave. That's what the thought was. But now, he's just like, screw it. I'll blow you all up. I will burn this house down. I mean, that's what Metron did. That's what Pulse Wave is now. Oh, everybody's around me. I don't care. I'm based. I'll nuke everybody. That rules change made Metron. That's how I
think
feel.
it was good before that rules change because it never, in my games where he was based and it was time to Pulse Wave, never really came up. I mean, the Metrons were just, it was always Nightcrawler got somebody where they were just in range, but I wasn't. But Nightcrawler wasn't. Then it was time to Pulse Wave.
Yeah. But
that was my strategy against other Metrons, and I thought my first 2 rounds was against Metrons. The third round was against a team that was a bunch of things. It was a Nightcrawler. It was a Bullseye. It was a Johnny Quick. It was a Question. It was a lot of things. And he took my Nightcrawler out like the second round, and it was Metron on his own that just took that team down. But one of the things that really actually helped Metron, which I don't know if I think it was active at George's World, I believe it was the ability to perplex down opposing characters' things and have it stick. So if you want Metron to shut down Bullseye, you just base him, he perplexes damage down to 2, and Bullseye's a kitten.
Yeah. And see, that's part of the overall issue that I saw was the change to Pulse Wave was the biggest, and it became the no-brainer. And I think that's when everyone said last year in Worlds was like, why not play Pulse Wave? I've talked to a whole bunch of people. I mean, why not play Metron? And I talked to a whole bunch of people, and they were like, I was there and I played a Metron team. Or I was there and I designed specifically to kill a Metron team because I knew it was too good to pass up and everybody was going to lean that way. I mean, it became that obvious. The Metron Nightcrawler thing is a whole different dynamic because, again, you had Nightcrawler teams, you had Metron teams, you had Bullseye teams. This was the synthesis, and only a few people got the synthesis idea and what that would mean. So, anyway, I feel that Stranger is, it's not going forward. It's a lesson from the past that wasn't learned, and it was like the meta just saying, just like WizKid saying, hey, guess what? You like that Metron, right? We made another Metron-like figure for Marvel, so Marvel has a Metron.
He's not Metron. He's not really Metron. He's very flexible, but he's not Metron.
Okay.
I don't think anybody ever will be, and that's probably not a bad thing. I'm sure many people would agree.
Okay.
Because honestly, I mean, the Metron thing was always the versatility, and now the Gauntlet lets you put that versatility on just about any figure.
Yeah. Okay, all right. So I'll let this dead horse finally
Yeah, 'cause we got
decompose.
way off.
Yeah, I know.
A couple other-
I'll let this dead horse decompose. Next up is Thanos, and 300 points.
Skipping Mr. Steph.
No, gosh, oh gosh, I do not like her. Says
Yeah,
somebody.
no, I got to agree. At first, I really wanted to like her. When I just saw her powers and the things she was able to do, I really wanted to like her. But her dial overall, it's too much. It's not. She's just not. It's too many points for too little. She's a considerably worse dark side.
She can't be healed. She can't be TK. She pretty much acts like Cosmic Spider-Man. But it's like, why? You move 4 squares. You move so slow. You know, it's pathetic. And then being able to get people on your team that were on your opponent's team. And I mean, it's a lot of silliness, and it can be valuable, but I don't see her worth the points. If you pull her, trade her into your store for store credit to get something else. You know,
I'll keep her because she looks cool, and I may play her from time to time. But I agree, she's sadly not a lot of points for sadly not a lot of value.
yeah. Okay, going on, Thanos.
Yes.
Thanos, 300-point fun, I feel. Lots of 300-point fun. He just jacks with everybody saying, guess what? You can't do healing while I'm out here. And 150 version, I used to be a proponent of the 150 version. I am not anymore after retirement because I thought the 150 version could change the way we see the game. And now I resign that idea. I don't think the 150 version is as good, mainly because researchers are gone. I think that he can do some cool things, and I think he gives you some added benefits for killing off opposing figures. But that's about it. He shuts down Soul Gem silliness, and depending on where you're at, that might actually be a good thing.
Yeah. And his two traits together are very good traits.
Yeah. So
Especially about the perfection of nihilism. I don't know how you pronounce it. That'll be really fun in a battle royale.
oh god, people will hate you, and they will come to kill Thanos real quick. Yeah, and he'll probably like it. Oh gosh. Oh, that's bad. Okay, bad Thanos joke. Moving on. We're getting the Chase Land, if you know, mind you. So this is stuff that if people pull it, it's more so that they're lucky or have lots of money. So just sort of chalk it up to that. And I will say this, even though I do talk about Earth 1 Superman Chase, or I might occasionally talk about like Ice Cap, I don't really see those as like core mechanic gameplay tactics or figures. I see them as niches or very, very obscure teams that you can do. And I'm sort of glad WizKids do not make a lot of chases like meta dependent. But as we go into this part, sort of bear in mind, there's some things that are broken with these chases. So just sort of keep that in mind. We're going to look at Dr. Doom first. Minions of Doom plus Power Cosmic. Remnants of Cosmic Spider-Man, 9 range. His first click, he doesn't have Power Cosmic due to his special power of Trick You into Giving Me Your Power. Dr. Doom can't use Power Cosmic team ability, and he can use Outwit. When he uses Outwit to counter standard power other than Outwit, he can use that power as long as it's being countered. Then he has his special power for attack on clicks 2 and 3, Rush of Doom. Dr. Doom can use either Energy Explosion or Incapacitate as if he had a range of 3, as if he had 3 lightning bolts.
People should know that the chase is Doom when he stole the powers of the Silver Surfer. The sculpt is supposed to be him with Surfer's surfboard, apparently.
Yeah. So that is a big sort of fun piece He has to stand still to use energy explosion, but I mean, still, it's not bad. The triple target energy explosion, because he's still a scientist, banners can team up with him to give him awesome energy explosion. And he can get like running shot energy explosion on click 3, so that's nice. He does get the Fable running shot pulse wave on click 4 and 5, and I have to say he's a better surfer than Surfer is. I'm just being honest.
He may be he's more ruthless, I suppose, is what you probably have been seeing.
Yeah, and then also for anybody just considering like, oh, he can't use Mastermind. If you get somebody with New Mutants team ability and you just copy New Mutants team ability, then you have Mastermind. So it's all good. Like it's really good. I don't really see a problem with him, and I would be happier playing him than some other pieces. So, you know, if you pull him, it's great. You have any insights on this piece?
So my phone is like hiccuping.
Oh, do you have any insights on this piece?
He's a decent chase. He's not one of my more wanted chases. It's just I don't see myself playing him. It just seems like a Dr. Doom from a one story. It's not that he's not good. It's just not my cup of tea.
Okay.
Actually, a lot of the chases for this set, just to go, they don't excite me very much.
I think that's sort of
going into the Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Compared to, this one's cheaper. It was supposed to be Mr. Fantastic with the Cosmic Cube, and he's arguably worse than his normal version.
It depends. It depends, and here's why I say that. The Mr. Fantastic he starts off with an 8 range. He has Fantastic 14 billion keyword. He has Perplex and Psychic Blast, Energy Shield, Plasticity in an 8 range. No running shot, anything like that. That's cool. I think that's a good starting off for a Fantastic Four member. The one thing I don't like is how weird his special powers are and how sporadic they are. Because you only get 2 clicks of AFMCS. A focused mind can survive this. And then it's give Mr. Fantastic a double power action. Mr. Fantastic can use Psy Blast, and it sucks because he had Psy Blast previously. As a free action, modify his attack values by +2 and his damage value by +1. And it's like, well, you pretty much said you gave me a 12 attack and a 3 damage, but I had Perplex before, and I could have had something, close to his.
Another unnecessary double power action, I think.
Yeah, I don't think it was a good manifestation of that comic plot. Then full activation at the end, which really should be like the ultimate nullifier for what you're doing. Give Mr. Fantastic a power action and choose an opposing character within 8 squares and line of fire. Deal 1 unavoidable damage to that character for each 100 points, or a fraction thereof, of this point value this game. After this action resolves, KO Mr. Fantastic. That hurts.
That's a very good power. I will say that's a very good power, and it could do really well. But at the same time, he can get knocked right by it so easily.
Yeah, no one's going to let you stand on that. Definitely if you're playing against Colossals, or against big games. No one's going to let you get that off. They're going to kill you. The moment they see that power, they're going to kill you. So I wish that there was a conundrum that you had with Mr. Fantastic, where that you would give him full activation on maybe his last 3 clicks, move his outwit clicks up, and then just say, guess what? You have a choice. You can lose your 110-point figure with, possible clicks left and survivability. And, you can lose this figure and say, hey, guess what? I do 6 damage to Onslaught, or 4 damage to, Uatu, or, 15 damage
to Galactus.
Galactus, yeah. I think that would have been a bigger quandary. I think that would have been tougher for players. And it would have been tougher for people playing those big colossals or those heavy point figures to say, like, you know what? Out of the gate, I have to kill Mr. Fantastic, because if he lands on any of those 3 clicks, he's going to just ruin my day. And it puts pressure on the colossal player, or the high point player. But the way they did it, it doesn't put any pressure on the other player at all.
Yeah, I prefer the 130.1 more. I'm not a fan of this Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah. So, I hate to say it, like, trade this chase in, get store credit. You know, you can do better. Next up is Keeper. And Keeper is another time where I cry for Silver Surfer, because it's not that good. Hypersonic and Energy Explosion do not work together. So you're sort of stuck with this crap of a starter click. At least you get Impervious starting off. That's sort of nice. But that 10 attack, 4 damage is like the bane of me right now.
But he gets later down the file some very interesting powers. Clean Cosmic Awareness, you know, outwit, but only the people with a lower point value, and at 237, that's not hard to find. And what he does, if he uses it to counter a standard power, takes it away from everyone on the other opposing team. So if you've got a team built around outwit, one outwit, no more outwit for anyone, which is kind of intriguing. I like that.
Yeah. And I mean, or taking away other defensive powers, then it becomes, advantageous. I will admit this. The tactical value of the Keeper, in my opinion, is one thing. Quantum Cosmic Jump. Once per game, give Keeper a power action if he occupies your starting zone. Place him in any square on the battlefield that is not in or adjacent to a starting zone. Use this game. And you pretty much just use them like Flashpoint Flash and just say, all right, you know what? I'm in my starting zone. It's turn 3 or 4. The battle's here. I really need to hit, my opponent here. Boom, Cosmic Jump, make sure everything's set up for when he arrives, and then, lay in. Now, preferably you're on your running shot clicks and not your hypersonic clicks. But I think that is his greatest asset, is that Quantum Cosmic Jump.
Yeah, with the Guardians of the Galaxy keyword, one team ability, and he's downloadable, and he's suddenly Power Cosmic.
Yeah. Yeah, that is true. But I still don't think he's worth 237 points. But that's my opinion. Anyway, going on. This is probably going to eat up. This is the last thing I think we're going to talk about. And it's going to, this is the last thing we're going to talk about. And it's probably going to eat up the rest of our time here, is Thanos. The Chase Thanos. Unfortunately, WizKid has this, 3 fetish. If you hadn't noticed, it's like they'll put out 3 of a figure. So we have the Thanos from the Super Rare, we have this Chase Thanos, and we're eventually going to have the Thanos with the end of the Infinity Gauntlet series.
And which is supposed to be, from what I hear, it actually is Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet. And someone asked what that's going to be like, and I think a WizKids employee said, imagine Cosmic Spider-Man on steroids or something.
Oh, that's not fun.
Well, he's a giant colossal who's not going to see normal play, probably, so it's okay with that. If Cosmic Spider-Man was a colossal, I don't think anybody would have been too mad.
Yeah. This one, when we look at the Chase Thanos, he comes in at 350 and 300, and it's a tough ride for me, just staring at it legitimately, because every time I look at his dial, I'm like, oh my gosh, that dial's ridiculous. When I look at his powers, I'm like, oh my gosh, those powers are ridiculous. Like, this should not happen. You should not be able to do this. And to let people know where it gets really ridiculous is this. Okay. He has he is what? He's 11 clicks, okay? This is the first time we've seen an 11 click figure in how long? A long time.
Yeah.
and this is 350, and then his more powered down version at 300 points. He's 8 clicks at 300 points. No, 9 clicks. Sorry, 9 clicks. You need to do math. It's still pretty awesome. Okay. Here's the problem. His teleport my enemies. Thanos can use plasticity. Nothing wrong with that. Give Thanos a power action. Okay. Place the 2 highest point value opposing characters in squares adjacent to Thanos. Sounds like a familiar mechanic that we're used to. Oh yes, they're called Nightcrawler teams that people hated. Oh, yay! We have this again. Oh, it's with the Thanos. That's a chase.
The thing is, though, this can only be done if you're doing it in a 350-point game. It's not going to work because Thanos is going to teleport your 2 biggest weaknesses next to him, and they're going to pay him back by beating the crap out of him next turn. But in high point games, yes, that's going to be crazy because it's going to be basically a little kill box. And you can do it on its very first turn. There's no first turn immunity for it. It doesn't target. It doesn't do anything.
Yeah. And this is easily the $100, $150 figure of the set by far.
Yes.
Yeah. Unless there's a whole bunch of them popping out there on eBay. I think this one is going to go for more than a pretty penny. It's going to be a nice silver dollar on top of that. Then the next funny part, Toy With You, which he does get on his 300 point version.
I love this power.
Toy With You. Give Thanos a free action and choose a character within range and line of fire. Replace that character's speed value and its printed attack value with its printed speed value until your next turn. Pretty much you just flip the values on your speed and attack. So yeah.
Someone's facing Mistress Death. Now Mistress Death is rocking a 12 speed for attack.
Yeah. Or you can say, hey, guess what? I'm playing Superman and Flash, and they're teamed up with Jay Garrick. And they're going to copy Jay Garrick's movement of 20. And I'm going to use Thanos, and now Thanos gives them a 20 attack, 11 movement with super strength and 4 damage. Picking up that object, I don't think I'm going to miss. It can be ridiculous. And the question that I would have to find out is the ruling. Does the flip happen after modifiers or before modifiers? Because that can be...
It's replaced, and the rules replace then modify.
Okay, so, all right. With the case of Superman and Flash, you would just have to make sure you time your replacements at the proper time.
Well, no, that wouldn't actually, now I'm thinking about it, that wouldn't work, that thing would said, because it's printed attack value and printed speed value, so you're not going to give anyone a 20.
No, because they're okay. This is now I have to go dig and find them. But
no, it is. It's fine. They can replace their speed value with there could be a figure that's got a 99 speed. It could be the Runner coming out in 2 weeks, and Superman and Flash can replace their speed with that 99. They're printed, and it specifically says printed. Printed on their dial is still 10. So that's what Thanos would flip with.
Oh, well, I had grand hope. But really, you go look at some of the Flashes, the 14 movement Flash from DC 75th, Wally, not Wally, Barry. And you can go and find your figures. They become, ridiculously silly. The other thing is he just neuters low movement figures and just says, guess what? You have a high attack, low movement. I'm going to nerf that. Oh, guess what? Light speed. I'm going to make you a good attacker now. Silly things like that just frustrate.
Groot gets a 13 attack and a 0 movement. Well, now Groot has a 13 move and a 0 attack, and can't be moved because of his power.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's stuff like that. Next, Drain the Cube. Thanos can use invulnerability. Thanos ignores damage dealt by opposing characters that aren't adjacent to him. Okay. So pretty much.
We should mention that that's only on his last 2 clicks.
Okay, yes, it is on his last 2 clicks. But you really have to look at it as, if you land on this, nothing can shoot you. Everything is a melee attack. Everything.
That, and you have plasticity, so breaking away is a joke.
Yeah. If Thanos wants to just joke with, just mess with you for the rest of the game, he can. And you won't be able to do anything about it. The other silly one is his damage power, which, in my opinion, it gives him flurry. Because it's called Stone Golem. And it says, give Thanos a power action. If no friendly Stone Golems are on the map, and place a Stone Golem token on the map in an adjacent square, that token becomes a bystander token and described to the right. Stone Golem, 10 movement charge, 10 attack, 18 defense invuln, and 4 damage. Pretty much the same as Thanos on those clicks.
But it's a double power action to spawn him, and you forgot the most ridiculous part about that thing. It's got the power cosmic plume ability.
Yeah. It's a little mini Thanos. I mean, that's how I see it. And the other thing is let's say you heal him past, or he gets knocked past, Stone Golem. Stone Golem doesn't go away. Doesn't say he goes away. So pretty much it's like a flurry, because you can have a Stone Golem there, and then you can be like, teleport my enemies. Stone Golem, go! I choose you. And so that part to me is the ridiculous thing. He did not need that. He did not need that at all. But
it's from the story. I imagine he spawned that Stone Golem. You got to be comic accurate.
I guess.
And they always go a little crazy for the chases.
Yeah, I think the point rarity is for chases is a little bit ridiculous sometimes. But
this Thanos though is not a 300-point class. If you play him at 300 points, I don't think he's going to do well because he doesn't start with that teleport. He does start with Toy With Me, but he's not great. I mean, when he's playing at 350, he starts with a 19, reflex, all his cool powers, and he can do neat things. I don't think he's going to be by himself at 350, by himself at 300. It's going to be bad. He's not going to do well at all.
Yeah, I still think, yes, this is a high-point game figure. I think you're looking at your 1,000-point games of messing with people with him. But at the other end, for what all he can do, I think it's a little bit excessive. I think they didn't need to do that much.
He's definitely the best piece of not the best piece, the best chase, I should say, of the entire set. Because the best piece of the entire set is Master Mold, and I'll fight anyone who says differently. I want Master Mold.
I think we agree on that for 2 different reasons. But I mean, I think he can take on more than he's supposed to, and I also think in the end he's going to surprise people by just saying, guess what? I have high damage values. I have, a decent amount of cheap support with me for this tournament, and, I brought another Colossal with me, and they're just going to multi-attack kill you.
I will say they designed him a little weird. For a piece that's really kind of built to be a ranged piece, he's got a lot of plasticity.
I think
basically, when he teleports the enemies next to him, he can also use plasticity. So not only is he teleporting the 2 highest point guys next to him, but they're not going anywhere because of his plasticity.
Yeah. I mean, but the way I look at it is that when Galactic Guardians comes out, there are going to be a lot of 600, 700, 800-point games. Just because of the point values of the figures in the set. And people will want to play lots of their figures from the set, or start playing teams that get fleshed out like Fantastic Four and Guardians of the Galaxy for sure. So there's no way you're going to be seeing a bunch of small games. Where I get concerned where Thanos is on the team is high point games, and you did not bring a Colossal.
That's when you need to be afraid of Thanos, because Thanos is just like, boop, I summon over the two biggest threats on your team, and I have everything over here to take care of them. And they're not going to have a bunch of clicks deep. And I got people that can do, 5, 6 damage base. Or let me phrase it, I have five damage base and enough flurry charge to make your mama cry. That's where I feel that Thanos is going to be considered cheese and broken, and people are going to call negative play experience on it. But other than that,
I will say though, if you get knocked to a second click, you're in trouble. At 350, that's a very naked click.
I don't think anyone's going to ping him that softly. I don't see it. I don't see you, A, getting that close to them letting you let that happen, and B, someone either hitting him for 3 and missing imperv so he takes 1, or someone with a psychic blast damage of 1. That's a tough click for him to land on. So I don't know. I think that's sort of rough. He can do some things, but I don't think I see him doing. I see him running around a lot though. I don't see him wanting to stay in melee, and I think that's the reason why you brought up, like, he's a great range piece, but he never has to stay in melee. He has the ability for all his dial except for 2 clicks to automatically just get out of there.
Yeah, on those plasticity clicks, he only bells on a 1.
Yeah.
He's got a bunch of saves. There's 2 clicks where he charges.
Yeah.
He's got 12 range and 2 targets. He should be shooting the hell out of people.
Yeah, and then also you have to assume, for as many points as you have, someone's going to put the gauntlet on him. And then that's when he'll be absurd. That's...
One thing I would say, one downside to him, is with the exception of his very, very, very agile for 2 clicks, for 3 clicks, he's really got no penetrating, no way to get past damage with just except sheer brute force.
Yeah, he has to hit his exploit weakness clicks, mind you, but yeah. I mean, that could be his only downside, is he can't make anything stick. So, I mean, other than that, I say, if you pull him, keep him. Don't let anyone try to trade anything that you have for it unless you pull 2. And if you feel charitable and you want to give me one, I can give you my information.
I'll take one too.
Dan will take one too. All right, I think we've more than exhausted the set, and we've exhausted probably you, the listenership. And so we appreciate you for hanging in there for these long 3 episodes. Well, let me say, this long episode 10 with 3 parts. I'm your host, Dark Logos, and, we all have to start over sometime. And we thank you for listening, and hopefully we'll see you next time.